All right, 11 minutes worth of business, and look at that. The Dow is up nearly 400 points. The Nasdaq's up 115 points. The price of oil is right around $92, $93 a barrel. Investors kind of like that. Stocks up. The Dow and S&P, by the way, are on pace to snap a three-day losing streak. The Nasdaq just turned back to positive territory for the week. Now, individual stocks. Look at this. Look at NVIDIA. According to the Wall Street Journal, the owner of TikTok in China, that would be ByteDance, getting access to NVIDIA's Blackwell chip. They're working with a Southeast Asian tech firm to get around the embargo to China. NVIDIA is up nearly $2, 1%. The U.S. is temporarily lifting sanctions on Russian oil that's already at sea. Edward Lawrence joins me. How much oil does this put back on the market, Edward?
Yeah, Stu, we're talking about an estimates of 124 million barrels already produced and at sea across 30 different locations. The United States easing some of those sanctions on that Russian oil so it can be sold on the open market. The Treasury Secretary defending the action as the U.S. tries to figure out ways to get more supply on the global market, saying in a post this narrowly tailored short-term measure applies only to oil already in transit and will not provide significant financial benefit to the Russian government, which derives the majority of its energy revenue from taxes assessed at the point of extraction. Now, the oil price hovering, as you said, above $90 a barrel, moving slightly up each day as Iran targets ships in the Persian Gulf. The threats effectively shutting down the Straits of Hormuz. Now, this morning, the Department of War outlining what oil traders are seeing.
Iran still has the capability to harm friendly forces in commercial shipping, and our work on this effort continues. But I want to make something clear. The only thing preventing commercial traffic and flow through the Straits right now, which there is some through the Straits, is Iran.
So the new Supreme Leader in a statement says that they will use the Strait as leverage against the globe to hold on to power. The Trump administration also waiving the Jones Act for about 30 days, which requires that U.S. built, owned, and operated ships move goods like oil between U.S. ports. The Oil and Gas Association says that this will have a greater impact on prices than the coordinated global release of 400 million barrels from emergency reserves. Now, this latest move to allow Russian oil to be added offers an estimated 5 to 6 day supply, but traders, as you know, still want to see those ships moving through the Strait of Hormuz to significantly move down that price of oil. Back to you, Steve.
Yeah, that's the important point. Open those straits. All right, thanks, Edward. Joining me now is Gordon Chang. He knows a lot about China. China is a known ally of the mullahs in Iran. How is China helping their war effort?
Go to the price of oil. You have oil flowing through the Hormuz Strait to China right now, 11.7 million barrels. So China is actually financially supporting the war effort with its purchases of oil. Also, you have that very large Chinese intelligence ship right off the coast of Iran, and there's diplomatic propaganda support, and that has been continual. That support has been crucial to Iran, and it's going to continue until the United States takes means to stop it.
Wait, China's still getting oil out of the Persian Gulf?
Yes.
Through the Straits?
Yes.
I didn't think any tankers were getting through.
No, the tankers that are going to China are getting through. Other tankers are not getting through. And I think that the United States, to put pressure on China, should be stopping those China-bound tankers, saying, look, if Iran's going to close the strait to our tankers, why should China get oil?
But if we did that, that pushes up the price of oil even more, doesn't it?
It does, but then it probably shortens the war because it pushes China away from Iran.
Okay. Xi Jinping just pushed through a new law, inside China this is, that threatens ethnic minorities who don't conform to China's common language and culture. Is there any room left for the Uyghurs and for the Tibetans, or are they out of the picture?
Well, there was no room before this law. This law, I think, is mostly symbolic because it codifies what's been going on before. You know, as the Uyghurs say, this codifies genocide. And yes, that's right, because if you look at the 1948 Genocide Convention, what China has been doing does meet the definition of genocide.
What's the situation inside China? How stable is Communist Party rule?
Yeah, I don't think it is that stable. We saw, for instance, at this 2 sessions, which just ended in Beijing, there was a lot of turmoil evident between the civilian leadership and the military. We've seen all of these purges. The military leadership has been decimated. The military is in disarray. That's not to say that they can't blunder into a war, but it is to say that they could not launch operations against the main island of Taiwan, for instance, because the command structure has been taken out.
So any attempt to take over Taiwan or be nasty to Taiwan, that's been pulled back because of Xi Jinping's difficult position with his military and the government.
Yeah, with the main island. Now, there's some islands of Taiwan which are only 2 or 3 miles off the Chinese coast. Now, those the Chinese military can take without too much trouble, and you don't need too much leadership to do that. But if you're launching a combined air, land, sea operation against the main island, that, I think, is off the table for a little while until they reconstitute the flag officers at the top of the military.
But that is the good news, isn't it?
That's the good news.
We'll take it. You know?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll take it. Gordon Chang, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Stuart.
Thank you.